I was thinking about it this morning, because these people are getting evicted from their like mobile parks or whatever, and it's like their last bastion of shelter, right? And I'm thinking to myself, back in our great great grandparents' day, if shit like this were going on, they would just take these fucking that simple. But the problem is, people are fucking cowards these days. People have no sense of backbone. People have no sense of honor. People have no spine. People just sit there like they're afraid to even think this stuff, man. They're afraid to even sit there in their own head and think this stuff like, oh, if I have a controversial thought, I wonder if the government can read my thoughts, and then, maybe they'll come and get me, and then they'll take me to like Guantanamo, or they'll take me to like, some prison, and I'll never be heard from again. Man, grow a pair of fucking balls, man. And it's not about like advocating for any sort of violence or anything like that, but just have the balls to say it. Say what your grandparents did, your great grandparents, your great great grandparents, back in like the 1800s, the 1700s. Let's say you had like robber barons, right? And they were running the money of the country, and people were going broke because of them. And they were, let's say they were like, losing all people were losing all their money. They weren't making enough money to live, to survive. They were starving to death. They were on the streets, and sorry, I'm still waking up here a little bit, but let's say, they're starving to death on the streets, right? They wouldn't put up with that shit. They would be like, you know what? Mob mentality. Let's organize into like a mob mentality group or whatever. This is not us, not me or anyone else, but them back then in the 1800s is what I'm saying, okay? And I have to disclaim this because people are fucking stupid, and they seem to think that everything I'm talking about, or that anyone is talking about these days, happened back then. It's not, they wouldn't just hang them from the gallows, okay, from the street lamps. What they would do, they would strip them down naked first, so they had no dignity, so then they could be naked while they hung from the gallows and suffocated to death. And that right there was the ultimate humiliation. And they had no on they and it showed one important thing. It showed they had no honor whatsoever. They had no honor. They were scum. They took all the money for themselves, like greedy little fat, greedy little piggies, and yeah. So, I mean, it's like, I'm not saying that's the solution today, obviously, because I can't say that. Um, but I mean, you've at least got to have the balls to admit that's what people used to do. Back like 200 years ago, that's what people used to do, right? And the problem now is we live in a so called civilized society. And where has it gotten us? Oh, it's gotten us all evicted. It's gotten people evicted from their mobile homes. People are trying to sleep in those RVs, in specialized RV parks. And now the board of directors of Sector 38 2C, A15 is coming in now and is saying, well, this board of director land, we need this land for, fertile crops and, this and that and blah, blah, blah. And we need this land for other things. So, yeah, you can't have this land, and we're going to kick you out now, and you have to go somewhere else. Or sometimes there isn't even an excuse. Sometimes they're just like, get out. They're like, it's again, they make laws. They make these arbitrary, stupid ass laws, and they're like, yeah, we just passed a law saying you can't be on this land on an RV. Get out, go, bye, get lost, see ya, and yeah, don't come back. And they just like to push people around. But yeah, 200 years ago, our grandfathers had higher amounts of testosterone. Our grandfathers had like 1,500 deciliters of testosterone, okay? And they did not put up with this shit. And that's why they spray the chemtrails and all the other bullshit. That's why they feed us garbage. They feed us pig slop. That's why they feed us so much sugar. That's why they, have phones and TVs um, to induce these rudimentary lifestyles of laziness so that your testosterone level plummets through the roof. And opioids too, man. I mean, like opioids too. Like, they have the fentanyl crisis, and then the people who aren't on fentanyl are on Suboxone, and those absolutely destroy testosterone. Okay, so but at the very least, they still offer people testosterone, though I don't think that's going to be forever. I think they're going to look for an excuse to get rid of the testosterone and say, oh, well, see, this one person died one time, and now we got to get rid of it because it's dangerous. Even though 40 people a year die from Advil, even though, 60 people a year die from peanut allergies, it's like ecstasy, for instance. Like 2 people died from ecstasy every year, and they're like, oh, we got to get rid of it. We got to get rid of it. It's dangerous. Oh, that one guy, that one guy, he took salvia and he lost the will to live, so he killed himself. So, yeah, we got to get rid of salvia in like 30 states now. They look at these things as excuses. They take the drugs they like and the drugs they don't like, and the ones they like they keep, and the ones they don't like they get rid of, right? And it's fucking ridiculous, man. So 200 years ago, they would have, if this were all I'm going to say is these elites today are lucky it is not 200 years ago, because the people 200 years ago would not have put up with this shit. That's all I'm saying, okay? I'm not calling for any violence, not calling for any bullshit or anything like that. I'm just saying 200 years ago, if it were people back then and the elites were doing what they're doing today to those people, they would not be in power for very long at all. Okay? And I'm going to leave it at that, and that's all I'm going to say for today. So you guys have a great day and stay blessed, stay safe, stay with Jesus, and have Jesus in your heart, and pray to Jesus and to God every single day, and God and Jesus will protect you. All right? I love you all, and I wish you all the best. All right? I'll see you around. Have a great day. Goodbye.